The next strategy is called Round Robin Whiteboard. Now, what is great about this strategy is that it can be used at several different points in your lesson and for several different purposes. It can be a great strategy for activating prior knowledge. It can be a really good strategy for reviewing content, and it can even be a good informal assessment. So how this works is that students are going to get in groups of 3 or 4. You need to provide them with either a small whiteboard, which is why it's called Round Robin Whiteboard, or even a clipboard with a piece of paper, something that they can share and pass around between them will work as well. Okay? And then you're going to give them a topic. So for example, at the end of my subtraction math chapter, I said, okay, boys and girls, what you're going to do is you need to make up a list of as many subtraction strategies that we have learned. Okay? You'll have 2 minutes to write down as many as you can on your whiteboards. But here's the deal. You can only write one at a time, and then you have to pass it on. So the kicker here is that you get points for as many unique strategies as you have on your board. So if you repeated a strategy twice, you only get 1 point for it. However, if you have an EL student who might not be able to successfully complete this whole list by themselves, they can still be allowed to repeat an idea from a peer that was previously on the board, and they're not penalized for that. They just don't get the extra point. So make sure that students do know that's an option. If you can't think of anything to write, just write what's already on the board. That's a great scaffold. So how this would work, student number 1 would say, well, I know that in math we learned how to count back. So they would write that down, and then they'd pass it to the next person. So they pass it to their peer, and then their peer is going to say, well, I know we also used a number line. So they're going to write number line really fast. Then they're going to pass it on, and the next person is going to say, oh, I remember we used the break apart method. So they're going to write break apart. They're going to have all of these strategies on their whiteboard. I'm going to say time's up, whiteboard's in the air, they'll put their whiteboard up, and I'll collect them, and then we'll share out as a class all of the strategies that we learned. And I'll say, this group got 5 strategies, great job. You get a pat on the back. So nothing super exciting happens when they win, but it's super motivating because they only have 2 minutes to write down as many as they can. Something to watch out for is to make sure that students have enough prior knowledge and are comfortable enough with this subject to be successful with this activity. So make sure it's something that they've heard of before, that they've worked with before, so that they have enough vocabulary, they have enough experience to be able to come up with a list.